Hello and welcome to Lord of the Board. My name is Sam Smith and today we are going to be doing an overview as well as give some strategy tips for Lady Tremaine in the brand new Disney Villainous expansion, Despicable Plots. The way that I like to describe playing Lady Tremaine is kind of like brewing up this delicious meal, and there is a ton of ingredients at play, and you're going to have to collect all of those ingredients and put them together in a very specific order in order to get your goal completed. So first I'm going to start off with how exactly does Lady Tremaine win the game. It states in the book that it's as simple as marrying Drizella or Anastasia to the prince, but this is a bit more complex. In order to actually get this goal completed, you're going to have to play Anastasia or Drizella to your realm, and they cannot be played to the ballroom. Then you are going to have to find and play Invitation from the King in order to unlock the ballroom. Now, by playing Invitation to the King, you are going to be playing the prince at the ballroom, and then you're going to have to dress either Anastasia or Drizella into their ballroom gown, move them into the ballroom, and then play Wedding Bells and activate Wedding Bells while Ball Gown Drizella or Ball Gown Anastasia is in the ballroom with the prince, and then you will have completed your goal. So yes, it's a little bit complicated and there is a lot of moving parts to it, and there's definitely going to be a lot of things that are going to come your way, but as I go through her cards, I will hopefully help you be a little bit more confident in completing her goal during your next game. But before I go into the cards and the locations and my tips and strategies, I just want to talk a little bit about some special mechanics that exist only for Lady Tremaine, starting with trapping. Now, Lady Tremaine starts with 5 trap tokens, and these are going to be placed off the side of the board. And instead of vanquishing heroes in her realm, she is only able to trap them with certain card effects. When a hero is trapped in her realm, that hero's ability is not able to be used, meaning that they're basically just covering actions but are not going to hurt you or harm you in any other way on your board. Their effects are nullified. Also, at the beginning of the game, you're going to want to place that lock token over on the ballroom. Don't forget to do that because that's going to be a part of your setup. Now, just to keep in note, there are only 4 characters that can ever be in the ballroom at any time. It's going to be Ball Gown Cinderella, Ball Gown Drizella, Ball Gown Anastasia, and the prince, who has to be played there. In no other circumstance can there be any other hero in this location or any ally in this location. But now that we know that, let's go ahead and talk through her cards. I'm going to go through the locations, and then at the end of the video, I'm going to go ahead and give you 3 tips and strategies that will hopefully help you improve your gameplay as Lady Tremaine. Now let's start off talking about Anastasia and Drizella, your daughters. Now these are a very important part of your game because they are a part of how you win. In order to play these, you're just going to have to pay the power cost and put them in your realm, but the special effect that they have is that in order to play the Ball Gown versions of them, which are 2 separate cards that cost 2 power, you have to have either Anastasia or Drizella already on the board. So for example, if you had Drizella already in your realm, you'd have to discard her and then pay 2 power to play Ball Gown Drizella right at Drizella's previous location. Now, these are going to be very important for your game, obviously, so when you get Drizella and Anastasia, the best place to put them would be at the castle, as it is going to be the closest to the ballroom, so that once you get them in their gowns, they are able to move inside of the ballroom. Now, since she has her daughters as her allies, the only other ally in her deck is her cat, which, to that, I completely understand where she's coming from, as I have my own cat ally myself. Say hello, Pascal, the face of evil. Hey. Rude. So Lucifer, all you have to do is pay 3 power to play him at a location, and then you are able to place a trap token on a hero at that location. This is definitely one that you're not going to really want to play unless you have a hero on the board. Otherwise, why waste the power? Because you're not going to be able to keep trapping heroes as they come into your realm. You're only going to be able to do it when Lucifer is played. So moving on to her item cards, we have got the 3 power cost Invitation from the King, which is one of the key cards in order to win the game. When you are able to play this card, you can unlock the Ballroom, removing that lock token, and then if the prince is not already in play, you go ahead and find him wherever he is at and play him to the Ballroom. Now, when this card is activated, you are able to look at the top 2 cards of your Fate deck, discard one, and leave the other face down on the top. And this is a good way in order to prevent really bad fates from being played on your realm. And another card that is essential to your goal as Lady Tremaine is going to be the 4 power cost Wedding Bells card. This can only be activated when the prince and either Ball Gown Anastasia or Ball Gown Drizella are in the ballroom at the same time, and no glass slippers are in play. You can activate this card and then you have won the game. So I'm just gonna say it right now, this card is essential and you have to be very careful about not playing it too early for risk of it getting removed by a fate card. You want to make sure that Wedding Bells is played pretty much the turn that you're able to win the game, because this is a very essential card in order for you to secure your victory. And then we've got the 2 power cost Lady Tremaine's Cane that, when activated, allows you to remove a glass slipper. And I know that this isn't one of the cards that is considered essential to you winning the game, but I am going to say that this is one of the cards that is essential to you winning the game, because glass slippers are definitely going to be played into your realm, and this is the only card that is able to remove those. So you have to have this card, and you have to make sure that it is protected from being removed. And last item we have is the 2 power cost The Key card, which when it is played, you can actually move Cinderella to Cinderella's room and then place a trapped token on her. Then its activate ability allows you to move any hero to Cinderella's room and put a trap token on them. Now, key thing to note here, you can actually play this card even if Cinderella doesn't exist in your realm. However, if she is in your realm, it's a really good ability to be able to just move her and trap her in the room. Now let's talk about some of the effect cards in her deck, starting with the 4 power cost Midnight card. Now this is one of the most interesting cards in Villainous by far. What it allows you to do is defeat all of the heroes in your realm, then you have to find and play both glass slippers. Now there is a very particular time that this should be played, and any other time this should probably not be played. The only time that this is okay to really be played is if you have Ball Gown Cinderella in your realm. If you have Ball Gown Cinderella, you can't win the game while she exists in your realm. And you also cannot place a lock token on Ball Gown Cinderella. Therefore, this is one of the few ways that you're actually going to be able to remove her from the board. And since when she is removed, she places both glass slippers on the realm anyway, that is the perfect time for you to just clear the board of all of the heroes and place the 2 glass slippers on it. Then hopefully have the cane ready to start removing those glass slippers in order to win. Now the other way that you can actually take care of Cinderella or Ball Gown Cinderella from your realm is going to be the 0 cost card You Little Thief, which allows you to just straight up defeat Cinderella or Ball Gown Cinderella from your realm. Another good card, but it's definitely a bit more situational, as you have to have Cinderella on the board in order for it to become useful at all. So if you don't have Cinderella on the board, definitely not one you want to hold on to and wait for. You could go ahead and just discard it. Now the 1 power cost Trapped card is going to be the main way that you're able to place trap tokens on heroes in your realm, nullifying their abilities. You have 3 of these in the deck, and if you have heroes on your realm, you're definitely going to want to stop their effects from happening. There are some heroes though that have more powerful effects, and you're going to want to take care of those ones first. Most notably, and the most important ones to trap as quickly as possible, are going to be Fairy Godmother or Jacques. Now the 2 power cost There's Still a Chance card, it has 4 copies in your deck and is a very, very good effect card in your deck. It allows you to either move an item or an ally to an adjacent location, or activate an activated ability. And all of the items in your deck have those activated abilities. So this is definitely a powerful card because either you're going to move Drizella or Anastasia over and closer to the ballroom, or you're going to want to use the activated ability of the many powerful item cards in your realm. And keep in note that this is the only way to use those activated abilities before you get the ballroom unlocked, as that is the only location that has an activate action in it. Now, I said If is a 2 power cost effect card that allows you to shuffle your villain discard pile back into your deck and then draw 2 cards. This is definitely one of those cards that you're going to want to play when you've lost an item card that's essential to your goal, like the Wedding Bells or maybe Lady Tremaine's cane. And the last effect card in her deck is going to be the 2 power cost card, I Never Go Back on My Word. This allows you to shuffle your Fate discard pile back into your Fate deck, look at the top 4 Fate cards, and replace those cards in any order, placing them back on top of your Fate deck. This allows you to play out the next 2 times that you are fated. This is a really, really cool ability, and what you're going to want to do is place the Fate cards in order that it won't affect your cards. Like, say if you don't have any items in your realm, go ahead and put Jacques there. That way his ability when he's placed is not able to remove any items from your realm. Little things like that you're going to want to look for when using I Never Go Back on My Word. Lady Tremaine is a villain of conditions. She has 3 different conditions, each with 2 copies in her deck, starting with Locked Up, which allows you to, during their turn, if another player takes a Vanquish action, you may play Locked Up, and you can place a trap token on any hero in your realm. And I haven't really found this one to be the one that I use the most out of these, so if I got this card, I would usually just discard it, but once in a while, it can come in pretty good handy, especially if you're not able to really find one of those trapped effect cards. But then we've got the Vicious Practical Jokes, which, during their turn, if another player targets you with a Fate action, you may play Vicious Practical Jokes, and of the 2 Fate cards chosen, you pick which card is played and where it is played. But by far, one of the coolest conditions I think that she has in her deck is, and one more thing. This states that during their turn, if another player takes a discard action, you may play and one more thing, and you may discard any number of cards and draw back up to 4 cards. This gives you a discard action in the middle of the round when it's not even your turn. It is such a good condition card and can sometimes save you a lot of time, especially when you don't actually have to go to a discard action after using this card. So that's definitely my favorite of the condition cards, but all of them have their place and time of use. We have seen her cards, now let's go ahead and check out her realm, starting with Cinderella's Room. Now this has a play a card action, a move item and ally action, a discard action, as well as a gain 3 power action. Now, I'm just going to make a note that this location will likely never be able to be used for playing a card and moving an item or an ally. You will likely always have a hero at play here. But having that 3 power at the bottom of her realm actually allows her to have so much power, and power will never be a struggle for her. She has a lot of different other struggles that we're going to go into during my strategy part of this video, but really, the power gain, no problem for Lady Tremaine. And then we've got the music room, which, when it is not being filled with the very sad voices of Anastasia and Drizella, allows you to play a Fate card, gain 2 power, as well as play 2 cards. And this is another very interesting location, one that we really haven't seen very often, and that's the fact that she can play 2 cards, and those are both at the bottom of her realm. When this location is covered by a hero, she is still able to play 2 cards and have some combo plays, which is awesome. So this is honestly a really good location, and if you can keep this one clear, because it is possible to keep this one clear, this is the one that I would say definitely keep clear. And then we've got the castle, which allows you to play 1 card, discard cards, fate your opponent and gain 1 power. And this card is definitely going to be used probably more in the early game, and is the way that you are able to fate your opponents in the late game after this spot is covered by a hero. So it's a pretty good location, but definitely not the best location in her realm. And I would say that the music room is kind of a better version of this location, because you were able to play 2 cards at it. And then lastly, we've got the ballroom. And this location does not have any actions on the top, and that's because the prince will be played here at this location. But on the bottom, it is the only location in your realm that has an activate action. It also has a play a card action and a move an item or an ally action. So this is a super good spot, and oftentimes you could win the game really quickly by going here, by say moving one of the Ball Gown sisters from the castle into the ballroom, playing the wedding bells, and then activating them. So this is definitely the best location in her realm, but won't be available at the beginning of the game. And now that we have looked at her cards and her realm, I'm going to go ahead and give you 3 tips and strategies to help improve your gameplay as Lady Tremaine. Now, probably the most trickiest part about Lady Tremaine is the fact that throughout the whole game, you are pretty much guaranteed to have heroes in your realm covering your valuable action spots. And so when you're playing Lady Tremaine, it's going to be a very different, slow, interesting, thinky, puzzly type of game. And one thing to keep note of is that power is never going to be a problem for you. You're going to have a load of power. And so that won't be a detriment to you winning your goal. What is going to be a detriment to you winning your goal is the time it takes to get there. So, as this first tip, it's going to be very important for you to slow down your opponents from getting to their goals. And I'm usually not the type to just say fate, fate, and fate again. But with Lady Tremaine, you have to fate frequently and you have to fate well. And another thing that you can do is you can really do your research. You can watch all of the Villainous strategy guides that I have, go to the location section in those videos and see which location I say is that character's best location. That's definitely going to be the place that should be your first target to cover up with a hero. Now, if you do not get one of the Ball Gown sisters in the ballroom before Ball Gown Cinderella is played, we have got a lot of problems. If she is out on the board before getting Drizella or Anastasia in the ballroom, then you pretty much have to use Midnight or the Destroy Cinderella card. Because while Ball Gown Cinderella is in the realm, you can't move into the ballroom. But keep note that if Ball Gown Anastasia or Drizella is already in the ballroom, then that truly doesn't matter. This is going to be kind of the big clog up in your game. If this puzzle gets thrown at you, then you have to get rid of Ball Gown Cinderella, but once you do, you're going to have both slippers in your realm. So like I said, Lady Tremaine's Cane is such an important card, and this is one of the reasons why you're going to want to hold on to that card until you are able to remove a slipper immediately, and then remove the second slipper next turn, hopefully using an effect card. So with Lady Tremaine, your real goal is to just get all of the item cards. In fact, this is one of the first characters where I would say activations and item cards is kind of the character's main function. Discarding cards is essential to Lady Tremaine's strategy in the game. She has very specific cards throughout her deck. You have to find Anastasia or Drizella. Then you have to find the ball gown version of Anastasia or Drizella. Then you have to get the wedding bells and the invitation. These are all things that are going to be spread out throughout your deck and you have no idea where they are. So all the other cards that are not one of the sisters or an item card, if it's not going to benefit you at the moment, then you're going to have to cycle it through your deck so that you can guarantee that you are able to get these cards that you need to win the game. And that is it for Lady Tremaine. You will have a lot of power, but not always enough time to win the game. And that is really the whole puzzle that she poses. A really, really fun character, very well designed, and I really recommend trying her out in your next game of Villainous. But if this video did provide any value for you, please go ahead and drop a like before you go, because that's going to help this video be seen by more people. If you want to see more content like this covering games in a more more strategic way, definitely subscribe to the channel. I've got a lot of different social media links down below if you want to use any of those to get the latest up-to-date news on what's going on with Lord of the Board. Check those out as well. However, thank you so much for watching this video. With that, let's go ahead and drop the beat.